Hey everyone, welcome back to the Strategy Vault Live. I'm Gio. My boy Felix is a little bit late, but better late than never. What's up? What's up, Phil? How are you, my
He's there. He's
friend?
there. What's happening?
How much you?
I'm here.
I must say I liked our entry better on our little intro video,
Nabu,
but
huh?
it's always nice. It's always nice to see my boy Felix on the mic and on the cam. So we're back with an English segment. Last week on Friday we had our first French segment. So now on Fridays we're doing French Fridays.
Yeah.
So that's it. So we tried it out and we enjoyed it, and we're thinking that we're gonna let Fridays run as French Fridays for the next couple Fridays. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know what
French
you think.
fries. I love the fact
French
that
fries, exactly.
it says French fries and French Fridays.
Our little we even did a little visual over here. Bonjour, hi. What do you think? I didn't ask you what you
I
thought
love
about it.
it.
That was
I
you like
actually
it?
love
Okay,
it,
good.
bro.
Good. I'm glad. I wasn't
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
if you were gonna like it or not, but I'm glad that you like
I
it.
actually loved it. It's
Great.
very nice. How was your weekend?
Bro, can't complain, man. Yesterday we had dinner at my I gotta say my the in-laws, but my girlfriend's family. It was her birthday yesterday, so we spent dinner at their house. So that was nice. And well, that wasn't even the weekend. That was Monday. But nonetheless, the weekend was nice.
it was your girlfriend's birthday yesterday. That's why.
Yeah,
Your birthday.
girlfriend's birthday. That's it. So yeah, shout out to Elvan. Yeah, so I guess grab your coffee. Time for coffee, I guess.
And let's
Rack open the vault. All right, okay. So before we jump into this game-changing topic, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor, les Stratégies Conseil. You know what I was going to say. Our sponsor, Stratégie Conseil. If ever you feel stuck in your business, stop spinning your wheels and start scaling smarter with Stratégie Conseil. Sometimes we feel like we're a hamster on the wheel, that we're just running in one place. But Stratégie Conseil, they help you get off the hamster wheel. They help you streamline your sales, automate operations, and boost efficiency without the need for endless consultants or extra hires. Are you ready to work less but get more done? Head over to stratégieconseil.ca and make your business run on autopilot. It's time, guys. It's time to focus on what really matters. Focus on your business. Enough focusing on let the people who focus on cleaning the toilets, let them clean the toilets. You own a business selling clothes, focus on making great polos and leave the experts do what they're good at.
Well said. Well said. I think it's a good bridge to like today's topic because we're going to be talking about purpose and how purpose affects your planning. And it's good that you say that, George, because sometimes we forget our why we're doing some things. We're building so many forms and stuff in our business that sometimes we discover, especially with business owners. As business owners, there's so many new tools and new technologies and new ways to do different segments of our business. I feel like sometimes we get caught up in the form and we forget why we're in business and what was the purpose. What was the main purpose? Why we were there in the first place? Things
For
are
free, I love that we're on this right now because sometimes I have little like doubts. Not little doubts, but sometimes you have little rough patches, right? It's only normal. It's not always going to be peaking. It's not linear, right?
Yeah, sometimes look at what's happening right now with the tariffs, and there's 13,000 jobs related with the steel and the aluminum industry in Canada right now. So there's a bunch of people right now who will be reconsidering their purpose, and who for them the life planning was something that was very regular, linear. I don't know if I pronounce it properly, but
linear.
Now they have to maybe find a new path for some of them, or for business owners, they used to sell to the US, not only in the steel business but also in other it might be subcontracted of that big industry. They were working for these business, so these guys will need to find a new purpose to plan better for the future.
Yep, for
Uh,
sure.
your why and why you're in business, and why you're doing something will be very important in the next few months. It will be a game changer. It will be the question, the $1 million question: will you stay and will you last? Will you last this crisis?
I brought it up like the point of the like sometimes like it's not linear, right? Like it's never it's not always good. There's always you're always gonna run into some problems, run into some stuff that you need to fix, right? And you might get challenged so hard that you start to think to yourself like, oh, maybe I should take the take the normal path, the normal 9 to 5 path, the safe path. And that's when your purpose comes into play. That's when the purpose, like, why did I start here? Why did I become an entrepreneur in the first place? And that's why revisiting your why is so important, because so many times I wanted to just fucking give up and just go to a regular route and feel safe, you know? But then I think like, no, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I just have to constantly remind myself like I didn't like that path. I rather this path. I rather go through the bullshit, even though it's not fun sometimes. I weigh out both. I remember what life was like waking up at 7 a.m. and driving in traffic an hour, going to a job that I absolutely hate. And then I automatically like remember my why, and I'm like, okay, chill. Let's deal with the problems. Let's move forward.
C'est tellement vrai. So true, bro.
We always ask ourselves these questions. A lot of entrepreneurs have this problem, but good times are coming, bro. Tariffs or no tariffs, like, good times are coming if we stick with the plan and keep reminding ourselves of our purpose.
So it all comes down to like defining your success in your head. They say like it could be called something like all kinds of things, like manifesting, call it what you want, but like purpose defines success. So if you don't know why you're doing something, how do you even know if you're doing it well, or you're doing like the good thing, or you're doing something that's like for the greater good? If you don't know why, if you didn't ask yourself,
if you don't know why.
why?
Yep. And I'm speaking for myself when I say my why was to have freedom. My why was to have, for some people have different whys. I want to own a mansion. I want 10 kids, this and that, whatever the case is. Everybody has their own why. But remembering the why was actually what kept me grounded, is what kept me to continue focusing on the problems, solve the problems, and move forward. But I would be lying if I told you that everything was perfect and I wasn't having any any anxiety of the future and stuff. So
before I jump into the question, I just want to like tell a little bit of the story of Uninet, because the why of Uninet is actually interesting. When we're talking about this, I'm just thinking about, I was like, hey, there's so many people starting cleaning businesses. What was your why? Why did you start a cleaning business? I was a consultant. I was working for myself. I didn't have employee. I didn't need employees. I was just consulting and having a good living for myself. Why did you start a cleaning business? And we might like, there was a pandemic back in the days when we started it, and there's no pandemic now. So people might say, okay, you started it because of the pandemic, but there's no pandemic anymore. We might lose sight, lose track of the purpose, because the purpose was the pandemic. I had nothing else to do. That's nice purpose when there's a pandemic going on. Yeah, he started it because we needed disinfection, we needed that. But afterwards, why did we last? The why changes. That's why you need to keep asking why. You need to keep asking yourself why, because it changes. Why did we last is another question. Like we decided to keep going, and the new why is not just because there was an opportunity of cleaning more businesses, because there was more cleaning going on. That was the first why. Our why now is because we realized as we were doing that there was a problem. There's a big problem of human resources, related to cleaning businesses. There's a lot of issues related to health and safety in our business that we're trying to fix. We want to fix these. We want to fix ergonomy. We're trying to so our why switched from finding a new business area to trying to fix a whole industry, trying to fix something that's broken because we're using people right now. I see companies using like I see you want to know how I see it. It's a little bit crazy. I see it almost as human trafficking at some point. How some people have not been paid, like some people that are not even paid. Some companies are hiding themselves. They hire people and they don't pay them. So people go clean toilets and they don't get paid for it. I see it all the time. I see it every day in the Facebook groups I'm in Facebook groups all around the world trying to understand the problems of my industry, not just the problem of my local market. I'm trying to understand the bigger problems of my industry because if I'm able to fix these, I'm able to fix them all around the world. So that became our why. Our why is why are we still cleaning like in 1965?
Nothing's changed, basically. So you're like, nothing's changed. You figured it might be a problem. Kind of like when you talk about the education system, how when you look back in the early 1900s and even the 1800s, you look at a classroom, it looks exactly the same as today. So you ask yourself in those situations, nothing's changed all this time. There has been absolutely no innovation. We're not saying there's a problem, but is there a problem because nothing's changed?
Because I think people are just keeping on perpetuating the same actions that the others have been. It's politics, right? So people are being elected and they're just like, they don't want to like mess anything up. Oh, it's been working, so we're just going to keep doing the same thing without asking themselves, like, do we really need to do like a real ground check of what's happening on the ground and like how our kids changed throughout the years and like the realities on the terrain, what's happening on the ground, like on the ground level. These people, sometimes I feel they've lost the whole thing. They've lost purpose. They lost track of like what was the purpose. The purpose is to help these kids.
And if you want to be the innovator or the the guy who makes changes in the industry, you have to have somebody, like, it's somebody who has a purpose to better, like in your case, you guys are cleaning, like, and not just look at what other people are doing. I think we all need to kind of look at what other people are doing at the beginning to get to get the ball in anything you do. You got to shadow, you got to look.
You gotta go work for someone else. We went work for someone else because we tried to understand like the basic of the business. Me and my part, like, he's not partner, but he's like working for Kev, like he came on a podcast already. Me and Kev worked for another guy before we started the business.
Yeah, and you guys learned
for a couple of years. Yeah. So we learned the basic of the business, how to deal with clients, how to deal with customer service, human resources, all of that. We dealt with teams, we managed teams, we hired teams, we fired teams before we started doing it for our own business. So we knew.
You saw inefficiencies, you saw problems, you saw inefficiencies. You're like, hey, I could solve that problem. I could do better here. I could do better there. And then you would talk to your bosses and
and I saw people trying to fix problems with robots where robots was not going to fix anything. Your bad management is creating bigger problems than you're like you trying to like replace your employee with a robot. You're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to hire someone else to deal with the robot problems, and your bad management cannot handle that. These companies, they didn't understand these, and the industry is, I feel, not lost, but like focused on you've got distributors, you've got these robots companies. They're not cleaning. They're making robots. They have not been on the ground field and of 5 days a week somewhere cleaning. So that's why these old ways are still going on. We're still cleaning. At the end of the day, these robots, they stay in the garage, and we're still cleaning with the old mop, super heavy. And we tried to fix these problems with simple things.
I want to bring up. I want to bring up one thing. Like, can you make the argument that if it ain't broke, don't fix it? In the sense that the solutions are working, why change something that doesn't work?
I
Even though it's
change
been
everything every
centuries.
year.
So yeah. So what I'm saying is like, there's got to be innovation. Technology is advancing. How could
Yeah.
it be we have the same techniques? It doesn't make any sense.
So in
It doesn't make
it's
much
very
sense.
interesting.
Maybe
Yeah.
every year is not necessary to change every year, but if you're looking at, for example, like the example that I gave about the education system, how it's always been the same, there's never been any innovation. We know there's a problem there. We know for sure that there's an issue there, because after all this innovation, how does a classroom still function the same way? Now it's
Right.
changing. Now with AI, of course, I could only imagine if you're a student in today's day and age, that you have access to AI. Now the game is changed, my friend. Now you want to learn a new language, you can go hire an AI tutor to teach you a new language. Like, you don't got to sit in a classroom and like ADD, like sit there for 1 hour, your back's hurting, you're moving, like
But I think, like, when you ask that question, I think you need a reviewing process at least. You don't need to change
need a
everything every
reviewing
year,
process.
but you need at least a reviewing process to, like we said at the beginning, ask yourself at least, why am I doing something every year? Just ask yourself the question. If the why and the answer, like, you ask yourself why and the answer is still the same thing, like, you're like, no, we're doing this for this, that. Listen, I've had a lot of moments.
And it helps bring you back to earth. It literally helps bring you back to earth. Like I was explaining,
Yeah.
like there were moments where I was like, I had anxiety. I was like, this is scary. It's a scary journey. And it's like, like I should go to the sure path. And then I'm like, let me see why I did this. The sure path. I was waking up at 7 a.m., driving in traffic, an hour in traffic, hated my job. I'm like, no chance I want to go back there. So my why kind of brought me back to earth.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes I remember it makes me think of these Discord conversations we had as a team, where I was so focused on like a certain part of the system. I can't name it directly, but you know what I'm talking about. You know, phone systems, all that stuff. I was focused, trying to change something. That's a good example of me trying to change something. And you guys said, why are we changing, really? What was the point of changing? Why? And it brought me back to, I was trying to optimize maybe just a little part of the thing that step on SSI. It was not necessary. It was not, and I wasted so much time trying to do that. The little
part,
phones. I would say the phone systems was a very
trying to get
good,
the best provider and stuff.
Like yeah, you guys just brought me back to like, Felix, what? Like, you guys asked me that very simple question. Why did you change?
I didn't really question you, because I'm like, okay, he's trying to get the best system that'll make his business save time, save money in the long run. I can't argue with that logic. That was your logic, and I can't argue with that. You're saying I'm using this phone because it's giving me AI features that'll make me more productive, that'll make us fine. I can't argue with that.
But at some point, when I switched, because at some point I like spending so much energy and time switching to that provider. At some point, my brain was trying to make sense of that new provider, but that new provider was no good. Let's admit, when you used it, you didn't like it. I was trying to make.
Well, it was a learning. It was a learning curve. It was a learning. But then when your friend over there told you like, I wish we could use it, but it's too expensive. I think that gave you a reality check. Like, hey, maybe it is not like.
Yeah.
Who was that told you? The guy you were talking to that said, I wish we were using that phone service, but it's too expensive.
Yeah, I had that meeting with my other provider who's providing us on some other solutions, and he told me, we used to have that, but we switched. I was like, you said my boss said it was too expensive, we switched. I was like, shit.
I mean, that made you think like, maybe
this company was so bigger than us. Yeah, exactly. I was like,
and we're bigger than you, and they found it too expensive. So you must be like, shit. Reality check.
No. Yeah, reality check. I can't scale with something. I was thinking about scaling, and this literally, like, this call brought me straight back to hurt. Like, that's. But yeah, that's a good example of losing sight of purpose.
I think there needs to be a balance between Felix and Gio. I think that a perfect balance between us two would be perfect, because I'm a bit more on the like, let's save money. If a phone random, like, The
Yeah.
cheapest phone system provider out there is good, and then you're like, no, we need the more expensive one. Let's meet in the middle. Maybe
Not
the one in the
necessarily
middle
not
is like,
the more expensive one,
like
but I will not waste time on a solution that prevents me from scaling over a
yeah,
more
I
expensive.
understand that.
Like money is not should
Yeah,
not be a problem in terms of scaling. But with that said, most of the solutions that I've scaled with and chose to scale with were the cheapest ones. Let's be real.
and they work. All you need. We have internet that's paid for already. We can go on Google. We get the number. All I need is a phone and phone numbers. The CRM, the I don't know
Yeah,
if
we
I
need
can
a
say
few
it.
things.
My bad if I can. My bad if I shouldn't say it. But yeah, the CRM, we need that. That helps us keep everything. And we're talking about planning. We're talking about being organized today. So the CRM, whatever the cost is, we need that. I can't work with papers and write all my notes on a piece of paper. Like I
No.
can't do that. We need that. But the phone system, maybe we could get the cheap one. Maybe.
On that, I feel like our why is so stronger than most people and most business owners. Like our
Yeah.
why of why we should own a CRM and pay for that is so stronger because we know so
We
much the
know it though.
value.
We know it, Fel. Let's take somebody else who's new in sales and wants to start well, I don't see why you would start a sales company if you don't have the knowledge of CRM. Probably
Yeah.
doesn't make much sense, right?
Yeah,
Like
if it's a sales company, you obviously know
no,
the
but
CRM
okay,
benefits.
but let's talk about the landscaping company out
Yeah,
there.
that's a good example. Yeah, why a landscaping
Landscaper,
business should get a CRM now, and
yeah,
and they all try to do it now. It's funny. All these service businesses, they're trying to convert themselves. They know, like they've heard of it. They know that it's good,
yeah.
bro. Just like I think this weekend, I answered a question of someone who's asking which CRM is better to scale because I'm using that CRM right now, and I feel like I'm capping. And I just answered. I was like, I'm using this. Me, I'm all honest. I'm not trying to make any money out of these guys. I'm just trying to help. So I just answered. I said I'm using that. I scaled so much. I loved it. It was a very high learning curve. I had to learn a lot. It took years, but I can tell it's the best platform to scale and have all benefits.
Bro, you
For the
can make a lot of money with that skill that you have with the CRM. I know somebody in Portugal who's a freelancer and they work for themselves. I'm sure they have like an account on Fiverr and all these sites, and they make over 100K euros per year.
Yeah.
Just
They
being a
make over
freelancer.
100K. But my
Bro,
why?
they get paid like 20, 30K for a job and they do CRM optimization. Bro, you
But
could
we're
just
coming
go
back
make an
to the
account.
why. We're coming back to the why because
You could make an account on Fiverr yourself and just keep it running there. You get an order, you take care of it. No?
100%. But 100K a year fixing CRM problems. I could argue that there's a lot of guys who did that and they're tired of doing that. And I did that. I did that a lot.
It's a lot of
Now
work.
I'm hiring people to do it for me, I have to say, but I don't want to. I have Uninet. Obviously, I'm still working for Stratégie Conseil.
But you're growing a brand. It's different for you. It's different for you, bro. Like you're growing a brand. But for freelancers that want to travel the world and want to have they want to have some income, bro. If you learn that skill of CRM management, customer service relationship management, and learn how to optimize, and what's the word I'm looking for?
You're flying
Automate.
to the next.
You're flying. You're flying. But forget about a regular job working at the gas station. You can work from home. Like maybe you should give a course on that. We should talk about that. Giving a course on, I don't know.
Yeah, it's so sad that I don't have anything.
Bro, that's amazing knowledge you have.
I have to do
amazing.
that. Yes, I have to show people. I was ready to do it for free. Like this weekend, 2 persons inboxed me like, can you show me? Can you show me? I actually need to set up something for this because these service guys, you know how we work, with these formulas and formula fields and all that stuff. You don't have to hire people $50,000 for a whole project now. It's finished. With ChatGPT, you could code your own things. And that's why I feel bad. Like, you know why? That's why I feel bad charging all these guys.
But big companies, big companies still need people to take care of it.
I know. But my
You know what?
brother,
It would be nice if I bring my friend there that I was telling you about. It'd be nice if I talk to him and see if he's down to come join us on Friday.
yeah, why not? 100%. 100%. Does he speak French though? Because it's French Friday.
It's got to be Thursday then.
Yeah, okay. No,
No, I
problem.
think he's
Just invite him on
he's
Friday
the,
on Thursday, bro. We could do that.
super chill guy. He's a Finnish dude. The Finnish dude
Okay.
from Finland.
Okay.
I'm gonna reach out to him. Nice, super nice guy. No, you haven't met him. He's a friend with Amit. It was actually Amit who introduced me to this fellow. So I'm gonna see if he's interested in coming on. So
let's take a time to sponsor. Talk about our sponsors here, George. I don't know if you have your message ready for our viewers, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Because you know that running a business is hard enough.
Running a business is hard enough. That's why we have this episode today of the power and purpose, right? And the last thing you need is to worry about keeping your office clean. And I was mentioning this at our first ad. You are a company that makes polos. Make your polos. Focus on making the best possible polos, right? You need somebody else to take care of the maintenance and the cleaning. That's where UniNet comes in. They make sure that your workspace is spotless so you can focus on growing your business. Whether it's floor to ceiling, deep cleaning, post-construction cleanups, or spotless windows, UniNet handles the mess so you don't have to. All right, okay. Yeah, I feel like we're forgetting our friends over there at Yaquinta.
Yaquinta, you want to do it now? Let's just you don't have time for another question. Let's go back for
yeah, we have time for a question. I thought okay. I thought
no, I was just gonna do it at the end, but it's fine.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, bro. Let's go. We have time for another question.
Go back. But yeah, I think you have, because I didn't ask you my first question at the beginning. I was trying to go back to that one. Have you ever worked, and I know you did, work on something that lost its purpose along the way? And I was thinking about the scooter business. I wanted you to talk to us about the scooter business, if it's
the scooter
possible.
Business that failed. Yeah, of course, the scooter business that failed. That was in nobody else's control. Like, unfortunately, we started it during the pandemic, so there's nobody really to blame there. That was tied into my purpose of wanting to be free, of wanting to be, to have.
But
the
what
freedom.
happened there? Do you feel like you guys lost your purpose, or it's not like it has nothing to do with it? It has something to do with it.
Oh man, it's rough. It's rough because like it's 3 years we're waiting on the sidelines. Like it taught me a lesson of not having to be able to rely on people, especially government officials, that we have to wait, especially in a country with a lot of bureaucracy.
So for the laws, you guys were waiting for the permits.
Yeah, so it's like, imagine trying to be excited on something where we don't even know we're allowed to start. So, waited 1 year, 2 years, and on the meantime, I'm working on the social media, I'm working on marketing. We might not even be able to launch. So what am I doing here? So it's tough. That's hard, man. It's a good example that you brought up. That's a really good example.
So just so people know, you guys were trying to start an electric scooter rental business, like the ones we were seeing like in major cities, like the little scooters,
like Bird.
You guys started in which city? What city was
our plan was to start it in Portimao. We never obviously were given the green light since COVID. We got the green light, and then COVID hit, and then we got the red light.
No,
and then we're so then we're waiting on the sidelines to get the green light again. So we have warehousing. We have a warehouse fees to store the bikes. We have our truck. We have gas. Insurance.
Wow. So
you guys worth it? We're just burning through capital. So we said that the year number 3, we waited 3 years. What do you want to do after that?
Okay, so literally, you guys waited 3 years until something moved on, and COVID never. Oh wow! So you guys had the green light right before COVID, so 2019, and by 2022 you guys were out.
Yeah.
Shit! Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. And do you feel like someone lost its purpose along the way, like earlier? Like you felt like someone like totally lost, because if you guys were I don't know, I think you were 3, 4. How many people?
Yeah, the partners that were involved, like it was obvious that they were not motivated by it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, I wasn't really, at a certain point, I wasn't either, but I had capital tied in there. So like it was rough. It was rough to see the project kind of lose its spark in a way, because I had money in there, and there was no more interest by the other partners. So we came together. We said, you know what, it's better to just and there's no when it comes to business stuff like that, there's no how do you want to say it? Like there's no bad blood in any way. Business is, stuff happens.
Yeah.
Like it's nobody's fault that COVID hit. Like
how a guy like me could switch things. And in my head, like external view, correct me if I'm going like south on this, but and it's also based on what I've read on the book today about purpose. This very good book that we're reading, me and George, Getting Things Done. So I was asking myself, like, what were you guys trying to do here? And if I had to, like, at this point, after like 2 years of paying the warehouse and everything, I would have been like, what are we trying to do here? So what are you guys trying to do? You guys were trying to like just hit the Portimao market because it was just like, what was the why here? Because we could have bring the business somewhere else in another city where it was booming, like San Francisco, but you guys would have told me, not, yeah, but our why is because we're here. So if the because we're here is stronger than fixing the problem,
you're probably right about that.
Yeah,
you're probably right about that. You bring up a good point. For sure, we could have looked at other options, other cities that might have accompanied us and might have given us the license to operate and bring our scooters there. But for me, it was the partners that I was with at some point. There was a lack of interest, and I couldn't. Obviously, this is not something I could do by myself, So like, all in all, like I think everybody was burnt out, and I think it's better to be with partners who are all equally involved in the business. And when you're with people who are not involved as much,
maybe
and that's another
why.
thing. That's another
all
thing.
along. You need the guys.
That's like, another lesson that I learned is I would never ever again invest my money where the partners are not putting in their own money in the project. That's one thing, that hard lesson learned for me. And I noticed that as a result of that, interest was not there. For sure. That's, shit hit the fan with COVID. But maybe if we had partners that had an equal stake or even had a percentage of their own money involved, probably would have been different,
How about having the same why from the get-go and reviewing the why along the way?
Sure, the why was the same, but if imagine you don't even have your money involved in a project, would you care? Would you care as much as the person who had money involved in the project?
So it's interesting. It's an interesting question. It's like asking.
Think about it. Your why is there.
It's like asking the business to the one who's not actually writing the check. So you're talking to the wrong person. You need to talk to the owner. You need to talk to the decision maker. If this person says, "Okay, I'm going to talk to my boss," is going to decide. Okay, you've been talking the whole time to the wrong person. This guy is not the one you were trying to close. The one you were trying to close, the one who's signing the check, who's deciding, who's reviewing it.
This is different. Imagine, I'm going to give you an example. Imagine you start up Uninet, okay? You have Uninet and you want to bring in investors, okay? You didn't invest a dime into the company. You're bringing in investors. You're getting a 20% interest in Uninet, but you're doing the work, right? You're setting it up. You're setting.
I don't work that way. I don't work with that. Exactly. I don't work that way.
So imagine you have zero capital of your own money involved in the project, and all the investors put in all the money, and you have 20%. If that business goes to shit, you won't be as hurt as the investors.
But why not be hurt? Like
I said, you won't be as hurt. You won't be as hurt. You don't have a financial stake in it. You don't
So here we are talking about purpose without knowing that we're talking about purpose. Because stake, in my opinion, and danger and risk taking and all that stuff is nothing to you if you have a bigger why and bigger purpose. I'm burning cash since the beginning. It's a startup, and it feels way more like a tech startup in Uninet, what we've been doing for the past 3 years, because we've been R&D like crazy, bro. Like we've been trying new stuff like in these past 3 years, it has been trying and trying and trying new
Imagine you get
systems.
imagine you get to a position where you're considering pulling the plug, and then you look, you're like, "Fuck! I just injected,
You
hundreds
do
of
it every
thousands.
bro.
I just injected hundreds of thousands of dollars in R&D and this and that, bro. That's tough to quit. That's tough. But if you never put in a dime and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, it's easy
Mm,
to let it go.
it's
It's
easy to let
easy.
it go.
It's
Yes,
easy
it's
to
very
just
easy.
roll over to go somewhere else. You just put in
100%.
your time, which is, yeah, you put in some time, but you didn't put $1 of your own
Mm.
money.
Up-
I can
I'm,
just
pr-
go to the
I'm
next
total,
project.
bro. Je suis très d'accord avec toi. 100%. It's true, and that's why I stay attached to my projects. I don't like having investors from the get go. I just like in everything that
No, why?
I do.
It's okay. It's okay to get investors and you
I do
minimize
now.
your
Like,
risk.
well,
But
right
what I'm
now
what I'm
we're
saying is, Fel,
growing. We're scaling it.
I would
Before a
invest in
million dollar.
Uninet.
Why?
If I had extra, liquidity, I would invest in Uninet because I believe in, number one, I believe in the people, I believe in you, and I know you have your sweat, blood, and tears, and you have a financial stake in there. That's why I would back you. If you had no financial stake, I wouldn't back you. I wouldn't back you because your level of commitment
It's
would
only
be
an
lower than
idea.
your level of commitment would be a lot lower than somebody who has a financial. Your house is on the line if it fails, bro. I want to fucking back somebody like that. There's no way you're gonna go down without a fight if push comes to shove.
It's impossible.
Impossible.
You know
There's no
why
way
we're here.
that you're rolling over. There's no chance. You have too much at stake, and I would back you because of those reasons. I don't know what I'm sound like but as an investor, that's one of the major things that I've learned in investing in a business with partners who didn't have a financial stake. But they brought other things, right? They brought the contacts. They brought a lot of other things that I can't discount, which is way more valuable than what I was bringing. Well, I was bringing in money, but anyways,
But like all of what you said, like it all comes down to like, listen, like if we didn't have a strong why we're doing this from the get go, like you said, yes, we asked ourselves sometimes, are we really pulling through this for only that? Like it couldn't be money, bro. It couldn't be money. It
yep.
couldn't be money at the beginning. It was a stupid idea. Starting that business at the beginning was a dumb idea.
Which one?
Starting a cleaning business, because we were not affiliated to anyone. At the beginning we didn't have like all these like great contacts, or we were not plugged in on anyone, so we had to work these from dust, from the ground up. We had to like do cold calls and do a bunch of things that they took time and they cost us money, and it was eating our profit. It was eating our profit. Let's be real. Like, let's be real about things. I've been burning cash and eating profits since 2020, my friend.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's
like
the
Jeff.
real.
It's like Jeff Bezos said. Jeff Bezos said
Yeah.
that you could be working for 4 years nonstop and see nothing out of all the hard work you put in,
No
and then year
vacation,
number 5,
no flights.
boom, you just see that thing fucking take off.
Are
That's
you
how it
ready
is.
for no flights for the next 4 or 5? Are you ready for like no like obviously we took like small vacations. We had our breaks, but trust me, our money was not invested in vacations and fancy stuff. Our cars are like all finished, paid. Why? Because we kept the same cars. We didn't rent. We bought them.
And you have a nice Toyota over there. That car's gonna last you for your
Breakable,
next
this thing. Thank you.
13 businesses. No.
So like it's all about choices, and like you choose. You have your vision. That's why that's why they tell you build tunnel vision. Don't be distracted. Don't lose track. Don't lose sight of your purpose, and ask. That's why they say, okay, don't do it literally, but at least in the morning, ask yourself why. Why are you doing this? If you're asking yourself why, and the answer is like, I don't know. So you're at the right. You're at the wrong place. Wrong place. Like George said at the beginning, maybe you're driving your car at the wrong place to get your money. Like you're only surviving right now. If you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know
Okay, so
why
what-
I'm showing up at work.
So yeah, let me ask you one question before we finish. So
Yeah.
if you don't know, what's your advice in that situation? Would you keep going, or would you stop what you're doing? And
I would
what would you
keep
do differently?
asking myself why until I get an answer. I would not stop right away because that's dumb. You need to pay your bills, right?
Yeah.
So if you ask yourself why you have no answer, you keep showing up to work, but with a different vibe. You need a different attitude. First, you need to like figure out your finance. How much time could you last if you quit your job today? How much time do you last? What's your options? Because if you don't know why you're there, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's dangerous that you're just barely surviving and living a life of matrix delusions, my friend.
Mhm.
Like you're at risk right now. If you're asking yourself why, you don't know why. You're delusional.
You're at risk, but at least you're asking yourself why.
At least you have a conscience.
At least,
you have a
at
conscience.
least
You're still
at
there.
least you have a conscience. Exactly.
Oh, my
so
friend,
you're kind of like step one is because it's okay. You still need to try different shit out to see what you like. So kudos to you to having a conscience. Like, go for it. You don't know if you like it or not. You got to try shit out. At least you're asking yourself, is this it? Is this it? No. Okay. Next. What's the next move? So all this talk makes me hungry. And when I get hungry, there's no better place that I like to go to than a Quinta restaurant on 1851 Rue Ontario Street East in Montreal. The best, and I mean that literally the best and the closest to Portugal that you'll get on the island of Montreal. If you have a long day and you need a break, a Quinta restaurant is the perfect escape. Portuguese-style grilled dishes, great wine, and an atmosphere that makes you forget all your stress. Whether you're celebrating a win or just need a damn good meal, hit them up. Again, their address is 1851 Ontario East in Montreal, Quebec, or check them out at aquinta.ca. Thank us later. All right, okay. So that's a wrap for today for Strategy Vault Live, episode number 92. If today's episode helped you rethink how you plan and set goals, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment.
See you tomorrow.
And if ever you've had a project that totally lost its purpose, tell us in the comments. How did you get back on track? And thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you tomorrow.
Live. We'll see you tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Hit it.
I don't know where to hit it. Where is it?
I got it.